Good afternoon, Teri here at Rooster Farm. Well, you can definitely tell that fall is in the air. It always makes me a little bit sad to say goodbye to summer. I love to be outside in the yard and in the garden, and all I'm doing now is just cleaning up all the dead plants. But anyways, I thought today would be a good time to show you how to do some meal prep meals. We're all really busy people, and what's better than coming home after a long day's work and having at least part of your supper made for you. So I'm going to show you how that I make 3 meals. You can make them the night before and put them in the fridge so they're ready for the next day, or you can make them weeks ahead of time and put them in the freezer and then take them out when you want to use them. These meals I have been making since my kids were young, and my oldest son is 34, so I am aging myself. But they're classic, yummy, simple recipes that I'm sure you're going to enjoy. So let's get started.
All right, we're starting with 1.5 pounds of ground meat. I'm using what I had on hand, so I had half pork and half beef ground. We're going to crack into the bowl 2 eggs, and then we're going to chop some green pepper. This is a green pepper I just went and picked from my greenhouse. Still have quite a few peppers in there to pick, which is great. We're going to need 1/3 cup of chopped green pepper. Tastes good. I like them pieces not to be too big. So I'm going to fill 1/3 cup. And add that to the bowl. Then 1 medium onion chopped. And this is 1 teaspoon of prepared mustard. One and a half teaspoons of salt. And 1.5 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. And 1.5 tablespoons of horseradish. This is just, this is not a super hot one. You use whatever you like. I love horseradish. And these are saltine soup crackers. I just happen to have 2 bags open, but you will need just 1 sleeve of soup crackers. And if you don't have soup crackers, use breadcrumbs. I've never made it with breadcrumbs, but I'm sure it'll work. This recipe is an old recipe from my ex-husband's mom that I've made for a long time. And here we go, just some tomato soup. You're going to use 3/4 of a tin of tomato soup, and you're going to reserve the last 1/4 cup, and you're going to be using that to put on the top of the meatloaf when you're finished. And here's some pepper, teaspoon of pepper, teaspoon of salt, and you're just going to mix it with your hands so it's all combined. Normally what I do is I will use 2 loaf pans because the cooking time is a lot faster. Today I actually just used one loaf pan for my recipe, and it did take quite a bit longer. So here it is. It's all filled to the top. Having 2 loaf pans is great too. And then you're going to add your sauce to the top. So this is the remainder of the tomato soup that you're just going to spread all over the top. And then you're just going to sprinkle it with a teaspoon of thyme. There it is. Looks good. I love meatloaf. And at this point, you could either cover it and put it in your freezer and use it, cook it on a different day, but I'm going to cook it because we're going to have this for lunch. 350 degrees you need to preheat your oven for, set your oven for. And here it says here, so split the recipe, 2 loaf pans, 1 hour. If you use 1 loaf pan, you're going to need to cook it for 1 hour and 30 minutes or until done. While that's cooking, I went out to my garden and I'm just going to pick some carrots because I'm going to have some carrots along with my meatloaf. The bunnies have been eating my carrots. Love gardens. I have carrots from the garden.
Just picked
so
from
yummy.
the garden. Gonna have this with my meatloaf.
And there it is, all cooked. It looks really, really good. And you can slice it. My husband, he likes it cold the next day and put on a piece of bread, which is really good too. And I served mine with some mashed potatoes, some carrots and corn and peas. Meal number 2. I love this rooster. He looks kind of mean though, doesn't he? And I've still got the same kind of meat. It was the mixed half ground beef, half ground pork. This is a great recipe. I love this meatball recipe. I've been making it, like I said, for a long time. Super, super simple. Just get your ground beef and just roll them into balls, however size you want them. And I like to just put them close together in the dish. And at this point, you could actually freeze your meatballs. And then when they're frozen, put them in a bag, and then you can take them out at any date and make any kind of meatball recipe that you have. You can make the sauce as well the day ahead and freeze the sauce and then thaw them the night before, and then you can cook them the next day. So here's the sauce recipe. 2-cup measuring cup. You add your ginger, your garlic, your brown sugar, your soy sauce into a 2-cup measuring cup, and you just want it to add the water up to the 2-cup mark line. It'll show you it here. Here I am cutting the ginger. You can use, if you don't have fresh ginger, you can use dried ginger. It's whatever you like. It's 1 teaspoon of ginger powder, but I'm using the 4 tablespoons of fresh ginger. Same with the garlic. If you don't have fresh garlic cloves, you can use 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, but I always prefer fresh. And here's my 2-cup measuring cup. So add all your ingredients, and then you're going to fill it up with water so that the level reaches the 2-cup mark. 3/4 cup of soy sauce. Use whatever brand you like. I prefer the China Lily brand. I just always have. 1 cup of brown sugar. Big splash. Here's my 3 garlic cloves. And my 4 tablespoons of ground ginger, or fresh ginger chopped. And here I am showing you that you just need to pour your water in until the ingredients rise up to the 2-cup mark. And just give it a stir. If you, because I'm using the fresh garlic, I end up chopping or putting my mixture into my blender, and I chopped up the ingredients, so it looks a little frothy. That's why. It's because I decided that I wanted the ginger to be a little bit more finer. It seems like a lot of sauce. Sometimes I have more meat mixture, and this is enough. If you don't want to put all the sauce in, you don't have to, but I love the sauce, so I use the whole recipe. And just pour it all over the top of your meatballs. And then I'm just going to use a spoon, and I'm going to try and just put some of the sauce over top of the meatballs before I put them in the oven. Put your oven for 350 degrees for 45 minutes, and just baste with the sauce occasionally. Yummy. This is so good. And I made it with some rice. And just pour the sauce and the meatballs right over top. It's one of my favorite meals. What do you guys want? Hey? You want a treat?
So I'm going in to collect some eggs, and there's always a few guys, especially this rooster right here, and these 3 little babies that always greet me here because they know I'm coming in. Hey, you hungry? Come on. Here you go. You're jumping up to grab the food. Stay down. Lots of eggs. Already collected once this morning. Hey, what do you want? Hey. You think I'm gonna feed you up there? All right. I'll go get some. There you go. I know, Mommy. Let me go. I'll leave you alone. Nice green egg. Wow. I might need a bigger basket. Drop one. Good for soft floors. Holy cow. All right, okay, that's it.
Meal number 3. And as before, I am using the same brown meat mixture, half pork, half beef. I have all my ingredients here all ready to put together. Start by grating 2.5 cups of cheddar cheese, and I always use the old cheddar cheese. Sharp, I like that better. And you're going to need 1 large onion chopped. I don't know, can you hear my dog snoring? Ruby, you're so noisy. Yeah. She's sitting here beside me as I'm recording. Add that to a beaker. And we're going to need 1 green pepper chopped. And add that to the container with your onions. And then you're going to brown your ground meat. And at the same time, I filled a pot with water to get ready to boil my pasta. I'm going to turn that on to high as well. Just crumple the ground meat and cook it until all the red is gone. Cooking nicely. And you're going to drain off the reserved or the fat. I like to save this and put this on my dog's food at night. Adds some flavor. Helps their coat as well. Then we're going to add your green pepper and your onion. Give that a stir. I forgot to add salt to my water, so I'm doing that now. And then you're going to add your tomatoes. I just used a can of tomatoes, but you can use fresh tomatoes if you like. And I've added some black olives, and I used kalamata because I had those on hand, and also some mushrooms. Which I had cooked before and chopped up and put in the freezer, and I just thawed them and put them into my recipe. And then you're going to add your 2 teaspoons of oregano. Give this a stir and cook it for a few minutes. There's some salt and pepper I'm adding as well. And just bring it to a boil and then turn it to simmer and just cook it for a few minutes while you're waiting for your pasta to be done. I'm setting the oven here for 325 degrees to preheat. Just give it a stir every once in a while. Turn it down to simmer. And using about 12 ounces of spaghetti. I used about half of this package. And I cooked it for about 11 minutes, which is what the package said to do. I never ever break my pasta up. I always keep it nice and long. Just press it into the hot water. and I break it up so it doesn't get clumpy. And now I'm preparing the mixture to be putting on the top. It's a 1/4 cup water, 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese, and 1 tin of mushroom soup. Just combine that all in a little bowl and mix it all up so it's all combined. I'm going to drain my pasta. I always drain mine over the sink, and then I'm going to rinse it with some hot water. Drain it really well. Then I'm going to get all my ingredients and put them over on the counter here, so I'm ready to start adding my layers to my pan here, my baking dish. Looks good. So you're going to use half of the meat mixture. You just lay that into the bottom of your baking dish. And then spread it all around so it's all evenly covered. And then you're going to spread a half of your cooked pasta on top of that. And then you're going to spread half of the cheese, the grated cheese, on top of that. And then repeat with the remaining half of your ingredients. Sauce first, pasta, and then cover it completely with the grated cheese. I like lots of grated cheese. And now I just sort of plop little tablespoons of sauce over just so that I make sure that it's going to completely cover the top of this. And just spread all the mushroom soup mixture all around. Try and make sure that you've covered all your pasta, because sometimes as it cooks, the pasta becomes hard if there's nothing that's covering it. Just spread it all around so it's all filled. Looks good. And at this point, you could probably put it in the freezer if you want, or you could put it in the freezer once it's cooked. What I normally do is we eat it that day, put it in the oven here at 325 degrees, and the leftovers I normally cut into pieces and freeze them individually so we have some meals that we can take out.
Well, I hope you enjoyed following me as I make those 3 budget-friendly, very simple meal prep meals. And until next time, this is Teri here at Rooster Farm. Bye for now.